Yo, 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 yo. I'm your host, Larry Keith. This is another episode of the 330 podcast. Today, I got someone I would consider family, a friend, someone who comes through at the most weirdest times for me. But I've been knowing this guy all my life, and I'm pretty sure you guys know him too. He's a man of many hats. I could just keep going on with the accolades that he's achieved, but just to go with the introduction, man, I want to introduce Josh McGlawn, Oxford, Mississippi.
Bro, appreciate you having me, man. Gracious introduction. Yeah, we've known each other, man, since I was just thinking about it before we came over here, man, since, man, knee-high to a grasshopper.
Yeah.
Just running up the street, ripping and running, snotty noses, you know. So you had, I didn't have snotty noses.
Man, but before we even get into the interview, what you just saying with how we grew up or whatnot, I just want to say you introduced me to two things that I'd never seen before. And when I came from St. Louis and I came down here and I seen that, it made me just want to stay in Oxford, Mississippi. The first thing, you'll laugh. Where I come from in St. Louis, I never seen a pantry before. So we was over your house and you had that little pantry with all this, man, I never seen nothing like that. And another thing, me being in the city, dealing with four-wheelers. And I seen you riding four-wheelers down the road and I was like, we can do this down here? Mm-hmm. It's like, I said, yeah, I want to come to Oxford, man. But back to the introduction of Josh McGlawn of Oxford, Mississippi, man. I'm going to turn this on and I will deal with it because I don't want the heat to take over. But the question that I just want to start off with from this interview is, man, I introduced everybody to you how I know you. But for the people who don't know you and just tuning into this podcast, who is Josh McGlawn?
Man, I say there's so many different ways in different settings, but I'm trying out something new, a new term. I'm Josh McGlawn. You've heard of entrepreneur, but I'm an entrepreneur. That means half the time I know what I'm doing, and the other half I just figure it out. So figuring it out, that comes from parenting, podcasting, real estate, relationships, construction, coaching, you name it. All the things that I do, you know, I submitted to prayer, I learned about it, submitted the discipline, and eventually, you know, I come pretty good at it. But overall, you know, I'm just really a builder of people, builder of houses, builder of businesses, but mostly I just build it on myself, man, just like everybody else.
Man, you named a lot of things of what you do. Just going into the second question, what got you into the field of wanting to do that? I know the way you said you start off, but what sparked you to just jump into this lane, man?
So, some people know that I am third generation business. Been in business for over 50 years in the Oxford and Fayette County area. Started out in dirt work, just a dump truck and a dozer with my dad and my granddad. That evolved into so much more. People were like, can you do this? My dad's like, yeah, we can do that. Mm-hmm. He just figured it out. And now we're building houses. So we focus on, you know, building workforce housing mostly because that's, you know, such need, especially in this community. But I had to go back to, I grew up in business, but for me, kind of like, feel like my origin story, I jumped from businesses to working for other people, back and forth, and just trying to figure out, you know, what lane do I fit in? Where can I make the most money? What can I be the best at? And I was working at this job selling natural stone for some company out of the UK. 400-mile radius all the way from St. Louis down to the Panhandle in Florida, New Orleans, Chattanooga. Man, I was all over the place. Just did that for about 6 months, and it started getting a little overwhelming, but I was getting into it. Mm-hmm. I was making a little bit of money, not as much as I probably should have been paid, but I was making a little money. And finally, it got to a point where it was, I'll just say it, I got a call from not my boss, but my boss's son, who I saw as my peer. He was younger than me, but he called me and said, "Hey, let's go visit some clients in Birmingham. I'm gonna fly down from Jersey, come to Memphis." And he's like, "Hey, can you meet me at Olive Branch? It's Starbucks." I'm like, "Starbucks? It's random."
Yeah. Starbucks is a good place to network from what I've seen.
Yeah. Wasn't necessarily networking, but when I got there, he was like, "You want coffee?" I was like, "No, I don't really drink coffee." And I'm driving the company truck over there. He was like, he sat me down. He's like, "Yeah, I'm here to let you go." So that's the first and last job I ever got fired. He's like, "I'm here to let you go." My heart sunk, but it was also a little excited at the same time. Because it really wasn't my purpose. I was out there chasing money and darn near killing myself trying to do it, basically funding my own business but working for somebody else.
Right.
It really made any sense. But on the way back home in the Uber that he sent me in from Olive Branch to Oxford.
Yeah. That was very gracious of him.
he was like, "All right, buddy, here's the Uber." And I was like, I mean, I couldn't really do nothing but hop in the Uber, but this little old lady driving the Uber, she was like, "Baby, where you headed to?" And I was like, "Ooh, she don't know." I'm like, I'm going to Oxford this year.
Yeah.
She was like, "Ooh, I guess this is gonna be my last ride for the day." And it was early in the mid morning or whatever. But he sent me off in the Uber. I drove off thinking about what I was gonna do, man. Like now I got 3 kids, wife, and fairly newly wedded by the end, about 5 years and all. Yeah, about 5 years in, 4 or 5 years marriage at that time, and it was. Marriage is a whole nother story.
Yeah, yeah.
For the first 5 years. But man, I got there, got in that car and started thinking about, what's my move next, and started thinking about the family business and stuff, and what could I do to, for my next step in life.
And now just to pin back to the question that I was saying about you being a man of many hats. That's the story of one thing. But then I could go for an example. We can talk about podcasting. We can go into filmmaking.
How much time we got?
Yeah, and most overall, that's just not a one-lane story because, like I said, you're an entrepreneur. That wasn't the end. You didn't get fired from, like, I'll give you an example. Somebody gets fired from Walmart, they go work at Target. It's kind of the same thing rather than going somewhere else. So where does that actual passion come from? Is it a fearless thing or?
Man, just growing up in the family business, and not just in the family business, but also the way I was raised in faith in the church. Just being a man of the word. Even though I was in so many different places, I never burned a bridge. I actually worked for one company twice. I left on my own accord and came back again because I had to. But just being a man of your word and really just living a life of exploration. Going to Colorado for an internship, thinking that I was going to be a sports agent, and learning that that's not really the lane I wanted to be in. And working selling cell phones, I knew that's not what I wanted to do, but I thought maybe I'd be like the VP of something. I probably would if I wanted to, but I realized it wasn't working for me, working for somebody else.
Right.
That's just kind of the way I work. God has given me some visions, like specific visions on certain things, and it's always been that way. Like I used to sketch out house plans when I was a kid.
Right.
And I don't know if you remember, I was in art and crap.
Oh yeah.
So.
Very, very. And I'm not gonna lie, just going back to those days. Yeah, man, you was good with the art, man.
Man, I never considered myself like a nerd or anything until I became older and I actually, in Ole Miss, the first time I realized I was a nerd when I stepped into a civil engineering course, and say this, there weren't a lot of Us
Yeah.
there. Well, Asians and Indians, and I was intimidated because, you know, stereotypically, they're all smarter than me.
Right.
But I not realizing I belonged there. You know, I was just as smart as the rest of them. It just took me some time to realize like what my lane was after experiencing so many different things and bumped my head a bunch of times and realizing like it's not necessarily my place. It's with the family business, but it's in, you know, attacking whatever is in front of me based on the skills and the vision that God gave me, and to help cultivate that within myself. You know, it's really hard to like better yourself when you're putting all your energy into somebody else's stuff.
Right.
You know, working for a seed, you know, fulfilling the dreams of somebody else's, you know, CEO or company.
You're more so seem like a creator more than a person to join.
I am.
Yeah.
I am, for sure. I realized that I was a creator the last several years, like creating these different houses, built my own house, and just stepping back and looking at it. I just shared the video the other day. I don't know if you saw it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But realizing like, man, I did that. Darn, that killed me when I did it. But man, I can step back and look and realize like, yeah, I'm a creator. I'm an artistic person. Not because long, that's what God gave me. When I finally realized, okay, this is what God has for me to do, instead of chasing the money and chasing the accolades.
You more so embraced it.
I embraced it.
Yeah.
That's the word.
One thing I've heard you say while talking was housing, affordable housing, building, and so on and so forth. The thing that I want to know, affordable housing is something you're passionate about. What made you focus on that area?
First of all, I had to alter my language when it comes to affordable housing, because learning what I've learned about affordable housing is, if you talk about in layman's terms, like if my affordable is different, you know, from somebody else's affordable. I got neighbors in the neighborhood that I'm in now. Lady talk about, we had our sewer got backed up, flooded, and we had to spend $60,000 to fix it. I wonder what that's like for somebody else who can't afford that. I'm like, I'm living down the street from you. I couldn't afford that.
I can definitely explain to you.
And affordability is different, man. So we're using the terminology workforce housing because it's catering to the people, just, you know, hard workers working in McDonald's, Walmart, you know, university, whatever the case is. But I mean, just when I ran for public office, you know, some years ago, ran for county supervisor.
Man, you do everything.
I got this, they had the fad of the AI picture of yourself with all the stuff around it. I was like, okay, let me do it. And then I stuck it in AI, and it's got all these things. It's got drones flying around in the house in the back, and I'm like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. But I mean, I do a lot of things because over the years, and I'm only 38.
Yeah.
But I mean, 20 different jobs over 20 years. That's crazy. And it just me stopping businesses and working for different companies, trying to plug and play and figure out. That's what everybody's doing in life.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out, you know, what works and don't work. And that's all I do every day. Now that I've finally settled into, okay, this is what I do, I still struggle some days with like, is this really what I'm supposed to do? Or is this the way I'm supposed to go that way? And it's still a struggle.
And speaking on struggles, every successful person has setbacks. What are some setbacks that, you know, like I said, we're talking on struggle, but what are some setbacks that you had to overcome that pretty much got you to where you are now?
Man, I had to flip through the Rolodex to find that one, because it said like every time I feel like I got it figured out, something else comes up. I think Steve Harvey said it best. He said, man, you either coming out of something, in the middle of it, or you're about to go into something.
Right.
That's just life.
Right.
That's just how it is. You just got to be prepared for it. But I would say the most recent thing for me is like building my house. Like right before we built, and we've barely been in the house 2 months now. But before we built the house, you know, I sold some real estate, paid off all my wife's debts, and my credit cards were in limbo, basically. It wasn't a bankruptcy, but it was like I had to stop. One of those things you see on TV. We'll cancel your debt today.
Yeah.
So I signed up for it, and it was one of the most difficult, but one of the best things I've ever done financially, because I surrendered $30,000 in credit card debt and other debts, stopped paying it,
Right.
and ended up paying it off early. It would have taken me 20 plus years to pay it off before, you know, I gave up the debts, but it ended up taking me like 3 or 4 years. The program was for like 5 years or something. It took me like 2 years because I ended up selling some real estate, paid it all off. My credit score went from 500 to 650, 680 or something.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was good before then, but one of the hardest things that I did was relinquish that and just let the rebuilding stage, you know, come to fruition. And then when I built my house, I thought I had everything. I was like, okay, I got all this stuff paid off. So I'm building my own house. I ain't got no income. I'm emotionally invested.
Oh, yeah.
Time is everywhere, and then the ice storm happened.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
And a whole other problem happened. But it let me realize that when you think you got it figured out, you don't. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But just keep, take a step back, take a breather. And I've done so much personal development in the last 6 to 10 months. I feel like the next thing will come, you know, it doesn't get easier for you. You just get better at it.
Right.
So you just keep refining those skills. And just when you think you got it figured out, keep on trying.
I hear you on that. A question that I want to switch to in this now, I wouldn't say the lane that I'm in, but I can be familiar with it. I seen you I was on social media the other day, and I seen you share something, and it was old. It was from probably, I think, about a year ago, but you had a podcast going on, and I still believe you got it going. Now I see your T-shirt with the hustle out. I see the branding on, on the forearm of, you represent your stuff. How is that world? Like, is being a man of many hats and trades, at the same time, not saying podcast is not serious, but dealing with stuff like real estate, housing, and we just heard the investments and all of that, you find time to be able to podcast. You find times to be able to filmmate. And I don't say that in a way like just saying you don't have nothing to do or anything, but I'm just saying it's only 24 hours of the day.
Yeah, we all got the same 24.
Oh, man, preach. So I just really want to know, man, what made you jump into that? And I'm not talking as in now. I'm talking when you first started it, like podcasting.
So the original podcast, I don't know how I came up with Real Talk, but it just was, I don't know. Everything is real talk. So I don't like, this is such a broad term, but you see it on the forearm, and it really changed the way I carried myself and the way I see things, and being transparent and authentic, being able to sit down, being able to sit down and have transparent conversations without being judged. Women got their outlets. This is what I was thinking at the time. I was like, women have their outlets. They got the housewives and hip hop, this and that. They can sit and cry with each other. Yeah. What can men do? We sit around talking about sports and cars, And if we start talking about something too serious, we get.
It gets a little odd. Yeah, like, hey, man, hold on, man. You ain't. Yeah. You're a touchdown,
Wait a minute. Carbureted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just thinking about that, And I wasn't necessarily going through like a mental health struggle or anything at the time, and I wasn't even thinking about mental health. We didn't grow up. Mental health was like something wrong with you, and that's not what that is. As I got further into the podcast thing, just trying to create a safe space, I realized like this mental health thing for me specifically is real. We go through so much, suffer silently, and because we don't feel comfortable talking about things because of the stigma in our society, especially being of color. Like,
you're right.
In the black community, like, boy, you better dry up and
chin up and keep pushing.
Yeah, you can't be on.
Right.
But, man, spaces like this, like you created, and my guy Sip Talk was created. And it's crazy. Like
shout out to K-Sean.
Shout out to my boy K-Sean. I can't give him that thing again. but man, really to find time for something like that, you can't create time. People be like, well, you make time for this. No, you can't make time. Like you find time to put aside for stuff that's important, that's a priority to you. And at the time, it was a hobby, and then it turned into a business. I got this whole LLC, Real Talk on it. That rolled over into the film and stuff. Once I realized, stuff about mental health and started exploring my own, and man, it's just been nice rolling into something else.
All right.
I've done 3 different stints for the podcasts, from Real Talk with Real Men to the Iron Table to whatever else. 2 seasons of that.
Yeah.
And then Hustle Lab is the new one that's focusing on entrepreneurs and hustlers.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Now, something that I really gotta talk about, I try to talk about this on the, I kind of get this from my guy Big Steady, and when he was having the show on here, it's kind of like real talk, but we more so not talking about your skills of being an entrepreneur. It's more so just being a parent, being a son,
being a man,
being a husband. Yeah, like, man, how do you balance everything in the midst of what you just told us from everything that you do? And I'm gonna repeat it again. It's only 24 hours in a day.
But man, personal development is so crucial. I hired a speaking coach who I thought was going to teach me speaking, but he taught me something way deeper about personal development. Shout out to Coach McGlawn. I'm working on it right now. How's it sound? But man, personal development is so huge. My 5 core values: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial health. Check all those boxes, on whatever scale that you define, success or health. And it's not, none of them is going to be 100, like at any point at all times.
Right.
You're not going to have all of them 100 across the board. Anybody that's telling you that is not. But for me, I've had to learn that it's just as important, more important, if not, to put into yourself as it is to put out to everybody else. Husband, father, son, businessman, coworker, boss, whatever. You got to put those things into yourself. I got this list. Shout out to Coach Jamal on that joint. I call it fill my cup lists. So it's a list of things that I do 2 or 3 times a day to put into myself. Whether it's working out, listening to some chill music, go for a ride, go for a run. It's like 20-something things on there. I can just select at any time. But you have to put into yourself. You can't wait until you get to a point where you overflowing and you cussing everybody out, or you upset, because that means you too full.
Right.
You too full with other stuff, or you too empty. So watch what you put into yourself, your food intake, high intake years, and be careful what you're putting back into yourself, because you gotta be able to give to everybody else. If you don't have nothing, you ain't got nothing to give.
Right. Random question. It's gonna be about kids and being a father. But how fun is it to be a dad?
So depends on what day we talking about. Full disclosure, I got 2 girls and a boy. 16 girl, about to be 13 girl, about to be 10 boy. Boys easy.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the worst you gotta deal with is like them throwing some junk against the wall, if they playing or breaking something. I can deal with that. Girls, man, most of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's so up and down. I wouldn't trade it for
All right.
It's I tell people it's one of the most difficult but rewarding things I've ever done to be a parent, and especially with my daughters. I have grown up with them and grown into the man that I am. I wouldn't be the man I am without that growth. It has helped me balance between I grew up old school. These are the rules. Ain't nothing outside. Ain't no gray area. You do this or you
done for.
But with our kids, we've our generation, we figure out what we don't want to use or do want to use from our parents and figure out the rest of it.
Right.
So that's what I've done with my kids, and man, it feels like a new journey every day. I don't know if I call it fun, I call it interesting.
Yeah.
I can't put it. It's fun when it's good.
Yeah.
But it sometimes it sucks. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, that's
Especially with girls.
Yeah, like I said, I only got a boy. I'm happy and blessed with that. Yeah. So I could get where you're coming from. Now, taking you being a parent and you being a son, how big of an inspiration is your father and what you do now?
So, and he's probably, the most 100% the hardest worker I know any age. Anybody that I've seen on social media, otherwise, like he ain't there for the clout. He there because this is him. And he taught me and my siblings, that work ethic. And if I went out there digging ditches and busting my tail when the shovel was taller than me, then I wouldn't be who I am today. And for him to be juggle so much and still be a present father. He was busy when I was growing up, and went from this is where I get it. I remember at one point he was a college professor. Running the dirt business and a realtor at the same time. And each of these are, full-time jobs. He's doing all the same thing.
Right.
But all I knew is when Dad got a speaking engagement, we were off to Hawaii or New York or California. I was like, yes, we going somewhere. But man, big ups to him. He's on the downhill side of the business. I'm finally getting him to slow down, back off the gas pedal. From 100 miles an hour to about 98 maybe.
Right.
But man, he taught me everything that I know, as far as being a man of your word, being, a hard worker, and I appreciate it for sure.
I can't lie to you. When I moved to Mississippi, first person to give me a job and pay me. Besides the chores my dad made me do, your dad gave me an opportunity and he paid me. And that's when I figured out, working, and
work,
yeah, so I want to say I appreciate him too, and the thing that I think most people don't see now in the world. Well, you're seeing it now, but back then when we was growing up, it was like I don't know how to say it. It was a stigma of, hey, most people don't have fathers. Their father's not in their life. And then I come from, like I said, we neighbors. I come from my dad's been here my whole life. you know, I've seen it. So when I see people say stuff like that and say, you know, most of these people grow up and ain't got fathers and all that.
Stereotype.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, some people do grow up without their fathers, but the percentage that they was pushing, I was like, man, it can't be from where I'm from because from me, you, kid, everyone had their dad in their life and they played a big role into it. So, like, I had to ask you that question because, like I said, I remember it was sometimes we would be out there playing and we would want you to play, but
working, man. Man, I look at my kids now, and that's my daughter Layla. She at the house now in the air conditioning.
Yeah.
And my other two kids, they hang around my mom a little bit more. Sometimes they work in the office or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't put them, especially not this summer. I ain't putting them outside like that. But they do help me with stuff. But man, they don't want to know nothing about hard work. I'm telling you. Man.
They don't know about this heat that's outside right now.
My dad won't be studying that. He like, get you some water. They go to jug over there.
In a spot with no shade.
Man, barely taking breaks at that. We may take a lunch break, you know, get a sandwich out on the job site, but man, I appreciate it though, because nowadays, if I hadn't put that work in like that, and over the years, and I wouldn't be able to be sitting at my desk looking out at the lake and working on, you know, work in the, you know, the beautiful house that I built. I wouldn't have been able to know how to or afford to be able to do that without that work.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, the hard work pays off. Trust me. Just keep doing it, and it's gonna pay off in the way it's gonna pay off in the way that you put into it.
All right. A question. With that ending that you just said, what's a misconception people have about success that you wish more people understood?
Man, success nowadays looks so different, man. We, you know, you and I growing up, we didn't have the social media was MySpace.
Yeah.
And they were
and look, I'm gonna tell you, I was successful because I had the music playing in the background.
You gotta get a good background music. They're like, ooh, this is a good soundtrack right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but man, we didn't have the social media back then, and then actually some of our generation today get sucked into the social media because man, everything looks and sounds so good, and now you got AI. Or I was looking at a profile the other day, and I'm not a consumer of. I create mostly, but I look at something catch my eye. I look at it, and then I like do some research. It's like, yeah, this is a very advanced AI profile. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, look like a real person on all the videos, and I'm like, they got all these followers. That's crazy. And behind it is probably some nerd.
Yeah.
Perv. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry. That ain't the question you asked. Man, I think social media in general, paints this picture of success being, you know, one day I was broke and the next day I was rich because I decided I wanted to do such and such, and this is the steps that I took. Man, it's not that easy. Success, to be honest, is whatever you find it to be. I got this formula. I'm excited about it. But I got this formula. It's purpose plus passion plus action equals success. So you discover your purpose, you know, what you're here for, what you're passionate about, what you love to do. Even if you didn't get paid to do it, create a plan, put it into action, successful. And you know that the action plan is really going to determine what success is for you. And that's what I do every year. You know, I redo my goals. I put a vision board up. Last year I had this picture of me, must be, but it looked like
it AI?
Oh, this is before AI.
Oh, okay.
It looked like a guy that looked like me. He was ripped like I did when I used to play football. And I was like, man, that's what I'm gonna look like in 2025. Did it happen? No. But because I didn't take the steps to get there.
You're right.
But I checked off everything else. You know, I did get back in the gym. I worked out. But I put my goals down on paper. I put stuff in front of me that I could see. Next thing you know, I checked off all my stuff for the year. Which, man, you you gotta discover, you know, what works for you and what doesn't. You know, and the only way to do that is to dive deep into whatever you're interested in.
Right.
Not just what the world says you should do. I want to go into nursing because it's easy, or because everybody makes money, or I want to go into real estate. That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do real estate. Teach me how to do real estate or I want to get my real estate license because all these realtors make all this money. Lies and garbage.
Right.
I got that from my sister. I can't take that one. Lies and garbage. There's no such thing. Like, you can't just go sign up for a real estate license, take the tests. That's hard. And just think you're going to make all this money. Like, I did it, and I was like, okay, people know me in town. I'm going to get my real estate license. I should have got it a long time ago. They know me, so I'm going to get my real estate license, and I'm going to become this big real estate agent.
Right.
I didn't sell my first property until like 2 years in.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, you got to put into it. Put in what you want to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Now, coming to the end of the show, the last question I want to ask you. The man you are today, if you could go back and talk to yourself at the age of 18 for 5 minutes, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, man. You said 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Man, I would tell myself, like, get yourself rooted into like, not church, religion, but spirituality. Like, get a relationship with your creator, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's one of the first things I did before, I started making my way back up to. And I was down in there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was rough. If you look at 10 years ago, it was rough. I wouldn't believe I'm sitting right here, where I'm at right now. Even though I had the vision, just it wouldn't have made sense at the time. But I would tell myself to, man, just get a relationship with your creator. Like, focus on building yourself up, not in a selfish way, but you got to. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financial, that whole thing. Don't chase the accolades. Don't chase the money. Don't chase everything that's outside of you. Chase something deeper. Chase what you're passionate about. Once you get that relationship with your creator, you start hearing that stuff. You start hearing, me, I start hearing from, it's all clearer. And I can really focus on the paths in front of me. And not chasing accolades and chasing this, stuff. T.I. back in the day. That's what we grew up to chase, because that's what we saw. Everywhere else. And it was glamorous.
Right.
But once you get those things, you're like, man, this really ain't all that.
Yeah. So once you accomplish it, it's just like,
it's just stuff.
Yeah.
Now you're like, okay, what's really here for me? Mm-hmm. So now when you find that, man, everything else will come to you.
That's it. Well, man, coming to the end of the show, it was great talking to you, catching up with you. Thank you for finally coming.
Oh yeah.
To the studio. You helped a lot with it. And is there anything before you go you want to say to the followers, or you got just a message for them?
Man, I would just say, whatever it is that you're doing, slow down. Don't go so fast. Whatever that is in front of you that you see that looks good, feels good, sounds good, just take a deep breath, focus on you, bettering yourself, not in a selfish way, but bettering yourself so you can give to what you need to give to whatever is in front of you. Relationships, kids, wife, husband, businesses, job, whatever. So once you get all those things, all the stuff drowned out of you, social media, it's cool. Focus on stuff that's on the inside, not stuff that's on the outside.
Mm.
And you'll get there.
Oh, man.
Success will find you.
you said a handful in, man. With that being said, I'm your host, Larry Keith. Another episode of the 330 Podcast. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, do whatever you feel, man. I wish y'all have a nice day. See y'all next time.
Peace.